All right, guys, what is going on? Back again for a quick video. And I just want to talk about this recent news about PlayStation shutting down Bluepoint Studios. This was a studio they actually acquired not that long ago. This was actually acquired by them back in 2021. And already they're shutting them down. Now, Bluepoint apparently was really good at just remaking games for PlayStation. And they could have been used to remake several more. They could have been used to remake some Killzone games, Infamous games, some of the good ones that they actually had on the PlayStation 3. They could have been used for that. But this studio with about 70 or so workers, game developers, is being shut down, and all those workers are losing their job. And apparently it's all just because they had this God of War live service game get canceled. Apparently it wasn't going to be good. It was probably going to be trash, which it does sound like trash, a live service God of War game. What would that even look like? But yeah, that was PlayStation's idea though, and unfortunately it looks like they're going to be getting shut down because of PlayStation's stupid ideas. So it's kind of funny because while PlayStation has been doing this, they have been constantly shutting down studios, canceling live service games, 11 total, 11 out of 12 live service games canceled, laying off thousands of employees. While this is happening, Nintendo is actually buying up studios. They're acquiring new studios, and it's not just random studios. It's studios that make sense. Nintendo's not acquiring studios for the sake of making headlines. That's what PlayStation is all about, is the headlines, right? They want people talking about look, they acquired Bungie. Bungie used to do Halo games for Xbox. That's kind of PlayStation's, stupid mindset. They're all about the news. That's why, recently they had to lie and, make up the 160 million PlayStation 2s sold. They did that because they can't allow, they can't allow the Nintendo Switch to become the, highest selling console of all time. That's going to worry them. They're all about the news. They're all about the narrative, and they got to do everything they can to control the narrative, right? So they had to prevent, those headlines from ever happening. They gotta kind of postpone it. And so they lie their ass off and say, we sold 160 million PlayStation 2s. But it doesn't matter. Switch is going to eventually pass 160 million sold consoles. I firmly believe that. But regardless, yeah, they're all about headlines. And lately the headlines have been pretty bad, though. So they're shutting down Bluepoint. And it's all because of just this one failed live service God of War game. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what they've done for PlayStation. I read about it, but I already forgot what games they remade for PlayStation. But apparently they were good at it. According to most people, they did a pretty good job of remaking these games, and so it's good to have a studio that does that remakes some of your classics and all that. That's a good thing to have. And Nintendo, I know one of the studios they had acquired more than a year ago. I forget the name. Shiver. I think it's Shiver Entertainment. Shiver Entertainment was, I think what they were most known for was porting the Hogwarts Legacy game to the Nintendo Switch. And that's a very big open world game, and apparently they did a masterful job of porting that game to the Switch. And I guess Nintendo recognized their talent. I think they've done other things for Nintendo, not just that. And so Nintendo acquired them, and that's what Nintendo does. They acquire studios that they work with, they have a good relationship with, studios that have a good track record and do a really good job. They don't just acquire studios for the sake of making headlines. Although, anytime Nintendo does acquire someone, it ends up, being newsworthy, because people always want to know. People always want to talk about Nintendo acquiring someone and what that means, right? But anyways, yeah, it's just so funny. If you look back in the last 5 years or so, it's been this trend of Nintendo acquiring studios and getting bigger, while PlayStation continues to downsize, and shut down studios, lay off thousands of workers, cancel a bunch of live service games, while Nintendo's over here just, putting out banger after banger, putting out, games every single month almost. Every single month, while PlayStation is just canceling a bunch of games. So yeah, that's been the trend for the last several years. So who exactly is the market leader? You can't say PlayStation is the market leader when all this bullshit is going on. When they're constantly canceling games, they ain't giving you guys jack to play. Canceling games left and right. Shutting down studios. Yeah, they're not the market leader. All right? And now we're starting to see more people pick up a third-party game for the Switch 2 instead of the PlayStation 5. We're seeing that happen more often as well. So, if that made them the market leader in your eyes, them, being the preferred console when it comes to third-party games, well, that's going away as well. But they're not the market leader. They've been losing to Nintendo ever since the launch of the Switch. The Switch has completely dominated the PlayStation 4. It continues to dominate the PlayStation 5, and now the Switch 2 is dominating the PlayStation 5. And on top of that, it's the fastest selling console of all time in a day and age where everyone thinks the video game market is about to crash. And I guarantee you, if the video game market, crashes, quote unquote, Nintendo is still going to be there, and they're going to be the only ones standing. They're going to be the last ones standing, like they were back in the original video game crash from, many decades ago. So history is like repeating itself, and it's pretty fun to see. It's very enjoyable to watch. Now there's some news I just heard recently about that stupid idiot Phil Spencer being finally kicked out of Xbox. Some people are saying he's being replaced by some woman whose specialty is Instacart or whatever. So I don't know. I need to do more research into that. But I just wanted to talk about PlayStation shutting down Bluepoint. Either PlayStation is just very stupid and they don't know how to be resourceful with their own studios, or the developers at Bluepoint just aren't really that good and they're only good at remakes. I don't know. But if someone's good at remakes, make good use of it, especially if you have a lot of IPs. And that's the funny thing about PlayStation. They already have a good amount of IPs, but it seems like they're fixated on making more IPs. They just want to keep creating newer and newer IPs like every single year. You got that Intergalactic Heretic Prophet. That's the latest one that they're going to be releasing really soon. Looks stupid. Doesn't look appealing to anybody. That's Naughty Dog's next game. But it's like, why are they doing that? Why do they keep making new IPs? Like, it seems like they're trying to set some new record. Again, they're all about narratives. They're all about headlines. Like, is that their goal? Like, we want to set a new record of having the most IPs ever created, and they think that's going to do something for them? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think that's all about. But yeah, it's ridiculous how they just keep creating new IPs when they already have something like Infamous. They got Killzone. They got, what else do they have? Fat Princess, Twisted Metal. I mean, they already have enough to work with. So there's really no reason to just keep making these new IPs unless that's their goal, is that they just want to set some new record of having the most IPs. It's really stupid, but yeah, they got plenty already. They got plenty of IPs to work with, but they keep choosing to make more. And they're all the same shit, if you hadn't noticed. Last of Us, Horizon, even the new God of War games, this new what the hell is it called? Intergalactic Prophet. It's all the same crap. It's over the shoulder, third person cinematic experience. Even Spider-Man 2, like the same crap, with some slight differences, different skin, different characters, different story. That's about it, right? So they're being really lazy and they just keep wanting to create these new IPs. But yeah, that's about all I wanted to talk about. PlayStation continues to downsize. They continue to shut down studios while Nintendo does the opposite. They're getting bigger. They have better profit margins, better output of video games, all that good stuff. Anyways, you guys, Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below, and I will gladly talk to each and every single one of you later.